are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Good evening, Julien. How are things in Paris?
Well, in Paris, things are fantastic, but I think today we won't focus too much on Paris because I have a special guest from the other side of the pond, actually, from the other side of the channel, should I say. I've invited someone tonight who wanted to chat a little bit with us because even though he is a customer lifeguard and has been saving the world from bad customer service for a while now, he still experiences bad customer service every now and then, and I think it would be worthwhile having him share that. Is that okay with you?
Oh, this is exciting. Yeah, it just proves even the best can experience the worst.
Exactly. So let me introduce you to our patient today. Hey, Gerry Brown, welcome on board. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, Julien. Great to see you. And Max, lovely to see you over there in probably slightly warmer San Francisco. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm down. I'm down in the South Bay, so it's nice and warm at the moment. Tonight, the rain finally comes. We may or may not be in a drought. We'll find out.
Well, good.
Well, since you're feeling comfortable, you know what? I'm going to suggest you lie down on our couch, and then we just start the therapy together. How does it work?
Yeah. Well, you know, I've always found that it's really very, very cathartic to share the experiences, especially these days. You know, we don't get as many opportunities, so I'm delighted to have this opportunity for to be analyzed, if you will, by two people that I have a lot of faith in. So I'm looking forward to it.
Perfect. Then let's get started right away. Maybe you can start by telling us a bit of your story and what it is you'd like to share with us in the audience tonight.
Sure. Well, you know, some people there that are watching may know me and may know me. You very kindly introduced me as the customer lifeguard, saving the world from bad customer service. And a lot of what I do is I work with organizations to help them improve and enhance their customer experience, a little bit of strategy, a little bit of technology, kind of bringing it all together. And so part of the thing with that, which I think is quite good, is I get to know quite a lot about how organizations work. So for those of us that are in the business and we have this sort of insight into, well, I know what happens when I call into a contact center and you get all of our customer service agents are busy, your call is really important, we're going to get to you, blah, 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 blah. And so when I experience things that I know don't have to happen, then I find it very, very challenging. And the experience I want to share with you this time is one actually that happened in pre-COVID times. And I'm going to name the company because for a couple of reasons. Firstly, because I actually ended up with a good ending. So I'll spoiler alert. But along the way, it was quite frustrating. I've despite living in the UK, I go backwards and forwards to Canada, or was going backwards and forwards to Canada quite frequently. I've been flying on Air Canada pretty much regularly for about 30 years. There are some other options, but you know they've treated me fairly well. And in my high flying days, I was flying quite regularly. So for those of us that do fly, I was a member of their frequent flyer club at the sort of the top level. So I got some fairly good perks out of that. But so Air Canada fine. I've had the odd issue, but generally speaking, not. Last Christmas, I was going back, and again, this is Christmas 2019. My wife and I were going to Canada for Christmas. Her family is over there. And she had gone ahead of time, and I was just doing some work here. So I booked a flight between London and Vancouver. In the interim, I had an opportunity to do some additional work, which required me to change my return date. Now, I was expecting to have to pay a change fee. If you change an airline ticket these days, unless it's, top level first class stuff, it's going to incur a fee. And I was being asked to come back early by a client who said, well, look, we'd really like you to get started on this job. And I said, that's fine. But I said, I'm going to be in Canada. They said, no problem. Can you come back a little early? And I said, well, it's going to cost some money. They said, no, don't worry. We'll cover it. And I said, okay, well, this could be no problem. So I go online. I've already got my ticket booked with Air Canada. So I go online because we can do everything online. You call in. Why are you calling us? Why don't you go online? Okay, yeah, let's go online. No, I can't change the ticket online. Even though we got the ticket, you can change. I couldn't do it. Okay. Now, So because I kind of have to do this, it's not like, oh, well, I won't worry. The client wanted me to come back, so I'll stick with this. So I figured I'll call. And this is just, I guess it's about 2 weeks before Christmas. So Christmas, very busy time for everybody, especially airlines. Get through to the contact center in Canada. So I'm calling Canada. I mean, there's no point trying to call them in the UK. Traditional message, calls on hold, blah, 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 blah. An hour and 10 minutes on hold. Now, you go, you got to be crazy, Gerry. You're this customer service guy, and you sit on hold for an hour. Well, yeah, actually, because I had to get this done.
Right,
and despite that, I called at 6 o'clock UK time, 6 o'clock a.m. Their call center is in, they've got a couple, but let's say it's in Eastern Canada. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I still wait an hour and 10 minutes. Now, I'm sorry I can't make this I'll try and shorten it. So finally get through, explain what I want. Yes. I can't confirm. I can't do that. What do you mean you can't? You're the ticket office, right? I know I have to go to our rate department. I mean, the rate department? Yes, I have to go and ask them what the fare is. You can't do this. No, we can't do that. Fine. So, all right. So, you just going to put me on hold? You're going to call? Oh, no, we can't do that. You can't do that? No. What are you going to do? We're going to call you back. All right. When are you going to call me back? We should be able to call you back in a few days. A few days.
Oh, no.
I'm flying in about 3. I think it was 3 or 4 days before I flew. Right. So, there's nothing I can do. Fine. As she's telling me all this, and in fact, while I was waiting on hold, I was already creating the email to the senior execs. Firstly, just explaining this situation. So I send the first email off, basically saying this is unacceptable. But I had no choice. I said, fine, I'll wait for a call back. Finally get a call back, and they tell me how much money it is. It was something like £600, perhaps $1,000. Now, my client had said but I thought, well, no, I'm not going to say yes. I want to go back to them and say, look, it's going to cost you £600 before I go ahead and do it. And then they say, sir, we're not going to. Anyway, so I tell them to hold on. I'll call you back, knowing that God forbid. So the client says, yes, go ahead, fine. 6 o'clock the next morning, same thing, up early, boom, hour and a half this time. Another email going to and they finally said, yes, we can do that. And they had a price for me. But at that point, I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to pay this kind of money, and I'm not going to go through this experience. I sent an email to the vice president of customer experience, customer service in Montreal, and about half a dozen of his colleagues. And this is something I do quite frequently. Once, I'll give the contact center a chance. I'm not immediately going onto Twitter and being rude. I'll give them a shot. It doesn't work, fine. So as it turned out, again, I write a nice, polite letter, very disappointed. I'm in the business. This is unacceptable, blah, 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 blah. About an hour after that, I get an email from him, and he wasn't his secretary. It was from him. He was the guy. He was the head of a VP of customer service in Montreal, apologizing profusely. They had some problems, which had actually made the media. They'd had some problems. They'd opened up they changed their customer service system in November, just before Christmas.
Ooh.
Go figure. So this, of course, had caused tremendous, in Canada, if you went on the CBC and looked in the news, you see all this. So it had caused all these issues. Of course, I was the beneficiary of being an hour and a half in the queue. But he sends me an email. He said, there's no excuse for it. There was no, it's a technical glitch. He fronted up. He said, no, totally unacceptable. This is not the way we treat people. I'm really sorry. I will have one of my senior team call you later today to sort this out. If that's okay with you. Fine. Got the call from a senior person in the contact center. And she said, I understand, you've had some issues. And she said, I can see, what's going on here. She said, what day would you like to come back? I said, well, I'd like to come back this time. She said, okay, fine, no problem. We can book that for you. There will be no charge. Oh,
Nice.
and we're going to upgrade you. Oh, thank you.
I love when a story ends like that.
Well, you see, the thing is
that
you think, well, how many other people didn't have the ability to send an email to the vice president and either had to suck it up or whatever, and I guess the thing is that I always think that when I do that, and they say, well, it's fine if that's, you had to call the vice president. But I guess I was impressed in two things. Firstly, he accepted it. And secondly, when the person called me back, it was just handled. There wasn't any, oh, well, we can't do, boom, this is what we're going to do. And so it's that recovery, isn't it? We talk about, how organizations recover from bad situations. And so being able to do that and being able to do it in that way, to me, it would have been nice if they'd done it without me calling that, but it got done. And so I was very pleased. And I tweeted it and I said, yeah, this was great.
Look at the bright side. If they had fixed it proactively, there would be no story for you to share tonight. So that's
true.
it. And I'm gonna let Max, because Max is like the expert when it comes to transportation issue. That he's like the worldwide customer service expert when it comes to transportation. Go ahead.
I was laughing when you said it's a flight thing, because poor Julien, I've told him more travel nightmare stories than anyone should ever have to hear in a lifetime. One thing I'm curious, do you think the fact that you were high status impacted the response? If you had been a rare customer, do you think it would have been different?
No, I think what's interesting, Max, is I wasn't high status any longer. And this was one of the frustrating things for me, having been, whatever the equivalent is in United Airlines, gold, the Aeroplan, gold, et cetera. I wasn't anymore. In fact, I was just a regular Joe, Gerry. So, I wasn't getting any special. I mean, I think I might have related the fact. And again, here to your point, this is great. Go into the record. Let's have a look at this. Is this a customer that has given us lots of trouble? Or is this a customer that's been flying with us for 30 years? And really, now, if they've done that, and perhaps they did, wonderful. That's what you want. That's the way to deal with it. That's where, good CRM or good systems, whatever you want to call it. Boom. Yes, thank you.
And there are so many good learnings from your story. I mean, first, probably the most important one here, don't change your system just before Black Friday, just before Christmas, just before whatever is going to come that is going to be a mess, even with a fantastic system. Yeah. Second, enable your agents. I mean, seriously, the agent that tells you, you've been waiting for 1 hour 10 for solving your pricing issue. We can help with pricing. Sorry, call again later. That's not possible. But enable your agents, give them the power, empower them. But the fact that the VP would call you back, I don't think it happens very often. So that really shows that they do care, and that the person in charge is actually very much involved and is not just here for a KPI globally around all customers, but you care about each and every customer's satisfaction. That's a great win for that company.
Well, that's why I shared it, because they did step up, and they, the fact that it was handled as quickly, as well, and as you say, by someone in a senior position that, he's really got his eye on the ball, or, whatever analogy you're going to use. So yes, that was very worthwhile.
Yeah. I think what you talked about earlier, I did tech support way, way back in my career. And, the thing I found was if a customer had a really tough technical problem, and you sat there with them and you worked it out with them, and you got to the end of that customer became the best customer you ever had, because you went to war with them. Now, granted, these guys shot themselves in the foot, and then shot you in the foot, and then was there giving you a tourniquet on it. So it's not quite the same. But the fact that they, yes, there was pain, but the fact that they stepped up and worked through it in a real way, you end up remembering that and forgetting. Well, you remembered it all, but the pain is not the core memory that you take away. Instead, it's these guys stepped up and they did it, and
and you're still a customer today.
Exactly. Yeah, but I mean, it's this ability to be a customer advocate. I mean, we all hear organizations say we want our customers to be advocates. Well, the only way they're going to be advocates is when you do obviously not the bad stuff, but when you do something that is so. It's interesting. It's a paradox. It's so good, but as you pointed out, why did it have to happen? Why wasn't
Right.
the agent able to go, right, yes, Mr. Brown, see that there is a fee, you have to pay a fee. Fine. How much is it? It's X. Okay, fine, I'll pay it. Thank you. Guess how long that took? See, they have to pay for an 800 number. Now, it's not a lot of money these days, let's face it, for an 800 number. But it's them paying an hour and 10 minutes of me on an 800 number. It's me then causing stress for that agent because although I wasn't rude to her, abusive to her, now, I wasn't happy. So, think of all the downsides for them as opposed to being, well, why can't we do it online? Let's talk about digital. Why can't we do that online?
Yeah.
Just pick this ticket. There is a fee. Would you pay the fee? Yes, I will. Fine. Thank you. Done.
Yep.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much, Gerry, for sharing that story with us today. Really insightful. And I hope you're going to keep saving people from bad customer experiences so that you keep having this great title as a customer lifeguard.
It never ends. I won't live long enough to save all the people in the world, but I'm going to keep trying.
And as long as people fail, if they can apologize and fix problems. Well, thank you so much, Gerry.
That was really enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. And I will see you again next week.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.